My first time dealing with a serious illness was far more difficult than I could have ever imagined. I was unable to move as freely as I wanted, and breathing was a struggle. My husband, who scorned my ill self, saying, "We don't need a bald and sickly woman," added insult to injury. As my body cried out in pain, my heart cried out too when I discovered my husband's affair. How could he cheat on me in this condition? I will never forgive him. I am determined to recover from this illness and make him regret his actions. My name is Alyssa. I am 30 years old. I was living happily with my husband Bob, whom I married a year ago. One day, on my way home from work, I was suddenly struck with immense physical pain and collapsed at the subway station. I was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, and after a series of detailed examinations, it was confirmed. I had cancer. Cancer. Me? Is there some kind of mistake? I, who had never had any significant illness before and was always in good health, devastated by this cancer diagnosis. It's not too late to treat it, but if you don't start treatment immediately, it could be dangerous. I felt like I had been hit over the head at the doctor's words. But wait a minute. I've never had any issues in my company's health screenings before. The regular health screenings at workplaces often fail to detect diseases. It's not unusual for diseases to be detected only after detailed examinations, like tumor markers and brain scans, like in your case. I can't believe it. Please come back with a family member later. We need to discuss treatment plans. The doctor's words made my vision spin. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. When I left the doctor's office, I found a flurry of missed calls from my husband on my phone. It seemed he had been contacted when I was taken to the hospital by ambulance. He had come rushing to the hospital, but he couldn't find me and had been calling me incessantly. When I told him where I was, he came right away. The moment I saw his face, all the tension I had been holding in snapped, and tears started flowing down my cheeks. "Bob, what do I do? I have cancer." "Cancer? You, Alyssa? You must be joking." "I don't want to believe it either, but if we don't start the treatment soon, it might be too late. That's what the doctor said." "Unbelievable." "Bob, am I going to die?" "Don't say that. Of course you'll make it. Please, don't talk like that." Surrounded by other patients, I wept uncontrollably in my husband's arms. I didn't have the luxury to worry about other people. Clinging to my husband was the only way I could keep myself together. The next day, we returned to the hospital together to discuss our next steps with the primary physician. As expected, I was hospitalized immediately, and it was suggested I start chemotherapy right away. It's only been a year since we got married. Now my husband and I had to live apart. Despite this, Bob would come to cheer me up almost every day. "Alyssa, I'm here. How are you feeling today?" "Bob, isn't your work hectic? You don't have to force yourself to come." "What are you talking about? You're more important than work." "But don't worry about it. Oh, I brought you some apples. You like them, don't you?" "Thanks, but the side effects cause severe nausea." "Oh, right, I'm sorry. I also bought you some drinks and jelly. Eat them when you're feeling good." "All right, I will." "Thanks, Bob." My first experience with being ill was far more difficult than I had imagined, taking a toll on my body. Nausea and fatigue, coupled with the daily sight of massive hair loss. Unable to eat properly, my body quickly thinned down. The days when I thought I should diet now seemed a lifetime ago. I never thought I would lose weight like this. Between the physical and mental distress, I felt like I was falling apart. But that wasn't all. Each time he came to visit, my husband started to look away from me. You've lost a lot of weight." "Bob, will you hold my hand?" I reached out to my husband, but he flinched slightly, muttered, "Sorry," and walked out of the hospital room. His attitude left me in shock. Why? Did I do something wrong? Why do I have to go through this? I just wanted to live a normal life with Bob. Not having the luxury to think about others, I was plunged into a daily rut of self-loathing. Why me? Why is this happening to me? I would think this almost every day. However, I was able to continue my struggle with my illness, thanks to my best friend Lily. I couldn't tell anyone else that I had cancer, but I confided in her. As soon as I reached out to her, Lily rushed to the hospital. Ever since then, she's been coming to visit me in the ward whenever she can, despite her busy schedule. "Alyssa, I'm here!" "Oh, Lily, you just came last week, too. Thank you." "No worries. I've got time, and talking with you is more fun." "Thanks, but I'm just, you know." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I look completely different now, don't I? I've lost all my hair. You must feel uncomfortable around me." Lily sighed heavily and responded in a slightly angry tone. "Hey, how long do you think we've been best friends? It's been 10 years. 10 years! "Yeah, I know, but I wouldn't stop liking you just because your appearance has changed a little. Don't insult my feelings for you, Alyssa." "Lily, so you don't have to worry about it. I just come to see you because I want to, not because I have to." "Okay. Anyway, you need to get better soon. Remember that dessert place we wanted to go to? We still haven't been there yet." "Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Lily." Lily, always holding my hand, kept encouraging me gently. Thanks to her, I could vent my frustrations that I couldn't share with my husband. Time passed, and about 2 months later, I noticed something. My husband, who used to visit me nearly every day since I was hospitalized, hadn't shown up for a while. Even when I sent him a text on WhatsApp, the only response I got was, "I can't. I'm working late." Feeling really lonely, I decided to give him a call. "Hello, Bob?" Maybe it was because I called during his lunch break, but my husband answered the phone immediately. "Ah, Alyssa, what's up? I haven't seen you at all recently, so I thought, I just wanted to hear your voice." "Ah, I see. Sorry, but I'm a bit busy right now." "What? But isn't it your lunch break now?" "I've got some things to do. Sorry. I have to hang up." "What? Wait, Bob." The phone was hung up on me, and even after sending a message on WhatsApp, I received no response. Why? He used to visit me often. Could it be something happened while I was not around? Just when I started to feel uneasy, my best friend Lily came to me with an unusually gloomy expression. She tried to act as usual, but I could tell immediately that something was different. "Hey, Lily, did something happen?" Upon my inquiry, she showed obvious signs of disturbance. Why? Nothing's wrong." "But you seem different. You seem to be forcing yourself to be cheerful." "There's really nothing. Instead, did you see the news online? That comedian you like." "Lily, please, just tell me." When I looked straight into her eyes, Lily awkwardly averted her gaze. After a moment of silence, she finally opened her mouth. "Actually, I saw something yesterday." "You saw? What did you see?" "I saw your husband walking arm in arm with another woman." "Excuse me?" "So sorry for springing this on you. I might have seen it wrong." My mind raced with panic at her words. Bob having an affair with another woman? No, he wouldn't do that. But he hasn't been visiting the hospital lately. Could it be? I decided to confide in Lily. "Lily, I think what you saw was indeed Bob." "Eh? Why would you say?" "Bob hasn't visited the hospital in these past 2 weeks. Plus, he lied to me about working late yesterday." "No way! I can't believe Bob would do such a thing." "I called his office yesterday for the first time in a while, but he cut me off, saying he was busy. If he was cheating, that would make sense. Alyssa, Lily, there's something I want to ask you. I decided to ask Lily to investigate my husband on my behalf. So she visited a detective agency and requested an investigation into my husband. 1 week later, seeing Lily's face after a long time, it was evident from her somber expression that the investigation results were not good. Struggling to start the conversation, I thanked her with a forced smile. Lily, you've been investigating, right? Thank you. Can I see it? Alyssa, maybe you're better off not seeing this. That's okay. I'm already expecting the worst. But it's okay. I took the envelope from Lily and checked its contents. There were photos of my husband holding hands with another woman, kissing on the street. I couldn't help but feel a rush of anger, my hand shaking as I held the photos. He's been doing this behind my back while I've been sick. I sent a message to my husband on WhatsApp saying, I need to talk to you at the hospital, and forcibly sent the worried Lily home. That evening, when my husband visited my hospital room, I confronted him directly. I'll just ask straightforwardly, Bob. You're cheating, aren't you? He seemed surprised for a moment, but then defiantly retorted, So what if I am? And what if I've been having an affair? Are you going to blame me? Just tell me why. Why would you do such a thing? Why? Isn't it obvious? I don't love you anymore. Just like that, in a matter of weeks? Why would you suddenly, in response to my question, he threw back the cruelest words imaginable. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately? What? You've lost your hair. Your eyes are sunken in, and you look sickly. To be blunt, you look like a ghost. Where's the charm of the woman I used to know? How can you say that? I don't want a woman who's bald and skeletal. That's why. Are you satisfied? With that, Bob averted his gaze from me. The man sitting across from me was a stranger, not the Bob I knew. Ignoring my silence, he pulled a piece of paper from his bag and shoved it in front of me. It was unmistakably divorce papers. Are you serious about this? Of course. Like I said, I don't have an ounce of love for you anymore. There's no point in us being together. But why? Listen, you've lost your charm as a woman. It's a waste of life to be married to someone like you. Do you plan on keeping me tied down to this hospital room forever? For both our sakes, please sign the divorce papers quickly. In that moment, the last sliver of hope I had held on to shattered. This man was no longer the Bob I knew. Staying married to him would only diminish my self-worth. With that realization, I picked up a pen with trembling hands and scribbled my signature. I thrust the signed divorce papers at Bob, speaking in an unusually low voice. Happy now? We're strangers from this point on. Don't ever show your face to me again. With that, Bob snorted in a taunting manner. I wouldn't want to be with a woman like you, even if you begged me. Enjoy your life with your illness. Good luck with your treatment. I hope you realize you won't find happiness this way. The last thing I need is a lecture from a sick woman like you. Goodbye. With those words, Bob left the hospital room. I lay back on the bed, staring blankly at the stark white ceiling. Ah, what a short-lived marriage that was. What on earth was my life with him all about? Is this what married life is inevitably like? While I felt an enormous void inside of me, the feeling of not having to deal with such a jerk ever again was also substantial. With that in mind, I felt a bit lighter. 2 years later, having endured life with illness, I was finally discharged from the hospital with Lily's support. Now I'm living alone in an apartment, and though it's part-time, I've managed to return to work. On Lily's recommendation, I've also started using social media. By sharing my changing appearance on social media, I was able to connect with others who had overcome cancer. I was finally starting to regain a fulfilling life. It was one day like any other when my ex-husband called my cell phone. Hello? Ah, Alyssa. You've been discharged, huh? Good for you. And why do you care? And who told you? I saw it on your social media. You were out somewhere the other day, right? Sneaking a look at your ex-wife's social media is creepy. Can you stop it, please? Don't be like that. I was just calling because I was worried. That's fine then. Goodbye. Just as I was about to hang up, he shouted over the phone, "Wait, hold on." What? Well, where are you living now? Why would I need to tell you that? The thing is, I need your help. What? After we divorced, my affair was exposed at work and I got fired. I borrowed money to get by, and now my debts have gotten out of hand. Is that so? And? Now I'm about to be kicked out of the apartment we used to live in, so please, I need your help. What about your mistress? You have a girlfriend, right? I broke up with her a long time ago. The moment I lost my job, she disappeared. Can you believe that? As if he was saying, I'm not in the wrong. It's the company that fired me, and the woman I cheated with. His attitude reeked of denial, and it left me absolutely disgusted. This man had not grown at all. I told him straight out, I'm sorry, but I have no intention of dealing with you anymore. What? Why? We were married once, weren't we? What are you talking about? We're divorced. We're just strangers now, aren't we? Don't mess with me. Do you know how much I supported you after you fell sick? You should repay that debt. Debt? Yeah, that's right. I was the one who was there for you, supporting your mental health when you lost all your hair. And now, you won't even help me when I'm in trouble? Had he forgotten that he was the one who cheated on me? His selfish attempts to paint me as the bad guy left me shaking with anger. Enough. Who do you think you are? Who was the one who cheated on me while I was battling my illness? Don't give me that crap over a little cheating. It was because you were too pitiful to look at. What? I don't know anything about that. I was in the depths of despair, suffering from illness, and then you betrayed me and pushed me further down. Do you understand that? What the? Calm down, will you? Calm down? How do you expect me to do that? How many more selfish things do you need to say to feel satisfied? How many more feelings do you need to trample on to feel satisfied? There's no way I'm going to help garbage like you. If anything, you should suffer more. Wait a minute. I was hoping we could get back together. What? Who said anything about getting back together? I don't want anything to do with someone who can betray people as easily as you do. I've made up my mind. I'm going to sue for emotional distress. Emotional distress? He probably didn't expect to be sued for emotional distress after calling me so casually. My ex-husband began to panic. Well, wait a minute. Emotional distress? I told you, I don't have any money right now. I don't care. It's none of my business. Hey, Alyssa, shut up. Don't you dare call my name so casually. I'll never forget what you did to me, and I'll never forgive you. The scars of your cheating while I was pregnant and fighting disease will never fade. I'll squeeze every penny out of you for emotional distress and make you suffer even more. Well, wait. Help me. I ignored his pleas and hung up the phone. I blocked his number so I wouldn't have to hear his voice again and headed straight to the lawyer's office. The evidence of his affair that Lily had found that day was, of course, still valid. Thanks to that, I was able to demand a significant amount of damages from my ex-husband and his mistress. As a result, they found themselves deep in debt, sinking as far as they could possibly go. My ex, who had been fired from his previous job, seemed to have a hard time finding steady employment and apparently had to work multiple part-time jobs. Rumor has it that he's been living on the run, trying to avoid debt collectors. On the other hand, I'm living a peaceful life by myself. Recently, I've been able to work more hours and have started to spend money on my hobbies. My current excitement is a trip to Hawaii with Lily next month. I've caused her quite a bit of trouble, so I'm covering all the travel expenses. But to be honest, I'm planning to use the damages from his infidelity for the trip. LOL. Being married isn't the only path to happiness. What really matters is having friends who genuinely care about you. I intend to cherish the best friend who helped me during that time for the rest of my life.